I cannot believe it's been 60 years since this show came out. I know I never was big on some old sitcoms when I was young, but growing up, I finally got hooked on. And this one was definitely an exception. And, well, I think it's just so magical because that's what we're going to be talking about, a magical sitcom that is. So prepare to twitch your nose as I revisit Bewitched in this TV log. This is a revisited TV log from Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. Greetings, my fellow YouTubers. Welcome again to Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. My name is Doyle, better known to as the Big D, with a TV log revisited. Today I'm going to be talking about a show that originally premiered 60 years ago, and I'm going to revisit it, and I'm going to hope for the best with a little magic. It's going to possibly do better than my original. I must say, before we even got some magically fun-filled fantasy type shows in sitcoms like, say, I Dream of Jeannie, or, well, there may be others that followed, but this show was definitely a big one. So let's get ready to twitch our noses and prepare to visit the Stevens residence as I revisit the one and only Bewitched. Bewitched was a fun filled fantasy sitcom originally produced by Screen Gems. The show originally premiered on ABC in September of 1964 and ran for 8 big seasons. Okay, so Bewitched, which was created by Saul Sachs, was a sitcom about a witch who marries an ordinary moral man and vows to lead the life of a typical suburban housewife. Apparently, this show was a big success in its debut season, finishing second, and stayed in the top 10 for its first 3 seasons, and ranking out just missing the top 10 for its fourth and fifth season. But it continued, but went downhill later on. But I'll get to that soon. But the show continues to be seen throughout the world in syndication and on recorded media, physical media to be exact. Now, of course, the first 2 seasons of the series was originally shown in black and white, but were later colorized, and the rest of the series was in full color. Anyway, now the show's focuses on a beautiful witch named Samantha who meets and marries a mortal named Darren Stevens. While Samantha complies with Darren's wishes to become a normal suburban housewife, her magical family disapproves of the mixed marriage and frequently intervenes in the couple's lives. Most notably, it would mostly involve Samantha's mother and Dora. Episodes often begin with Darren becoming the victim of a spell, the effects of which wreak havoc with mortals such as his boss, clients, parents, and neighbors. By the epilogue, however, Darren and Samantha most often embrace having overcome the devious elements that fail to separate them. The witches and their male counterparts, warlocks, are very long lived. While Samantha appears to be a young woman, many episodes suggest she is actually hundreds of years old. To keep their society secret, witches avoid showing their powers in front of mortals other than Darren. Nevertheless, the effects of their spells and Samantha's attempts to hide their supernatural origin from mortals drive the plot of most episodes. Witches and warlocks usually use physical gestures along with their incantations. To perform magic, Samantha often twitches her nose to create a spell. When she does that, we hear a ding 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 ding. Special visual effects are accompanied by music to highlight such an action. Hell, even if I do that, I doubt I will get in trouble with Sony, who of course owns this. Now, the main setting for the episodes is the Stevens' home, at 1164 Morning Glory Circle in upper middle class suburban neighborhood, either in Westport, Connecticut or Patterson, New York, as indicated by conflicting information presented throughout the series. Many scenes also take place at the fictional Madison Avenue advertising agency McMahon Tate, which is where Darren works. Now, there were precursors to this series, including the film I Married a Witch, which was one of Salsek's inspirations for this. From I Married a Witch from 1942, which was developed from the unfinished novel by Thorne Smith called The Passionate Witch, and the John Van Drunen Broadway play Bell, Book, and Candle, which was adapted into a 1958 film. And both films were properties of Columbia Pictures, which also owns Screen Gems. The opening and closing animation credits were done by animation giant Hanna-Barbera, who of course were already big on ABC at the time with their hit animated series The Flintstones. Of course, that same year, they also introduced us their very first action-packed show in Johnny Quest, and they more recently had a short-lived attempt with the Jetsons. Anyway, despite finishing in second, losing to Bonanza on NBC. In its first season, the show was ABC's number one show and the best rated sitcom among the three networks. And it was preceded on the air by another sitcom, which was My Three Sons, which was on there before it went to CBS, and followed by the soap opera Pay-In Place. Anyway, the show went on to win numerous awards and all sorts of things. So I've got to say, it was really, really something. Now, sets and locations were featuring numerous things, including a couple, a couple of the Gidget films, as well as the Gidget TV show with Sally Field, and of course, I Dream of Jeannie, which debuted the following year after Bewitched made its premiere. And I'm gonna say it was shown numerous times. But anyway, Bewitched had a lot of fun, humorous stuff to offer. I've seen every single episode. Anyway, apparently the show was done so well, and however, after 5 seasons, well, they decided to let the show go. But however, it went on to go on for 3 more seasons. So anyway, yeah. But this show did have a good cast, though. During the series run, the series had a number of major cast changes, often because of illness or death of the actors. Most notably, it was for Darren, who I'll get to in just a second. Playing Samantha is the beautiful Elizabeth Montgomery, who is exceptionally very good. And why have you? She's the one who really steals the show every time. Her husband Darren is played by Dick York for the first 5 seasons, while after that he left because, well, of some. Uh, it's hard to explain. I think it had to do something with his back or something like that. He left, and well, that's when they decided to just decide to end the show. But however, ABC was willing to let it go on for three more seasons, and so Dick Sargent took over for the final 3 seasons. And then there's Endora, played by the ever funny Agnes Moorehead, who is always meddling in Samantha and Darren's affairs almost every time. Now, and then we have David White, who plays Darren's boss, Larry Tate. Now, he was credited as just a a recurring character at first for the for the Dick York run, but for the Dick Sargent run, he was added to the core cast. Now, for other cast members, we have the character of Louise Tate, that's Larry's wife. Originally, she was played by Irene Vernon for the first couple of years, and then Casey Rogers for the rest of the series run. Then, of course, there's always gotta be nosy neighbors, and that's the Kravitzes. Gladys Kravitz is the real nosy one. She was played by Alice Pierce at first for the first 2 seasons, but after her death, Sandra Gould took over for the rest of the run. And George Tobias plays her husband, Abner, who's always convincing she's seeing things. Right about the time of the third season, Samantha gave birth to a baby girl named Tabitha, who was played by Erin Murphy, and she shared the role for 18 episodes with her fraternal twin sister Diane. Now, there were other semi regulars throughout the series. Among some of them included Samantha's wisecracking jokester, prankster, Uncle Arthur, played by Paul Lynde, who was so funny and what have you. He'd later go on to have his own sitcom after Bewitched was canceled, which I'll get to that in a moment if I can remember, too. Maurice Evans plays Maurice, Sam's father, who also can sometimes cause a bit of an issue. Marion Lauren played Samantha's Aunt Clara for the first 4 seasons, and that was the only one of Sam's family that Darren actually liked. Then we have Bernard Fox as Dr. Bombay, a crazy witch doctor who appeared starring in, let's see, I believe the 4th season, or maybe the, no, wait, I think about close to the end of the 3rd season throughout the series. And he's actually the only surviving cast member of the series, as a matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken. No, scratch that. I made a mistake. He was, well, one of the last known survivors. He passed away in 2016. So only Erin Murphy's the only surviving member of this. Oops, my mistake. I just made an error, so I humbly apologize. And Darren's mother, Phyllis, was played by Mabel Albertson, who was very good. Now, there were two people alternating the role between the role of Darren's father, Frank Stevens, Robert F. Simon, and Roy Roberts. And there were numerous other special guest appearances, but there's so many to mention. After an overall total of 254 episodes, oh, wait a minute. There was one more thing, but I can't find the actor's name. In season, right about in season 6, Sam gave birth to another child, and that was a boy named Adam. Although he didn't have no powers. Tabitha did, though, and boy, she proved to be a card. Whew. Anyway, after 254 episodes were produced and aired over the course of 8 seasons, ABC ended Bewitched in March of 1972, but continued in reruns. Now, despite the low ratings, the show still had a contract for 2 more seasons. The network was willing to honor the contract by renewing it for a 9th season, but Montgomery had grown tired of the series and wanted other roles. She and her husband, who happens to be the executive producer of the show, William Asher, because, well, his company Ashmont Productions, well, co-produced the series' final season. They had separated and divorced in '74. After that, Asher pitched an idea to ABC for a sitcom starring Paul Lynde. And soon, they managed to create the Paul Lynde Show, which debuted right, well, in the same time slot Bewitched had shown. Though it did fine and what have you, but unfortunately, it just didn't quite catch on because it went up against some big hits like The Carol Burnett Show and Adam 12. Oh well, but nobody's perfect. Well, still, right about the same time, Asher and Ackerman created another ABC sitcom that same year in '72 called Temperatures Rising. That also didn't do so well either. Well, sort of. Even though the next year it would be called The New Temperatures Rising Show. But, yeah. There would also be a movie, but it was kind of like, let me put you this way, about an actual, well, a failing Hollywood actor who was offered a career comeback by playing there in a remake of the show. And well, and he chose an unknown gal who was an actual witch and was written, directed, and produced by the late great Nora Ephron. I have yet to review that film. Maybe I will sometime, but I've unfortunately only seen that film like once or twice, and that film was a big disappointment. Bewitched would later get some spin offs. In 1965, there would be an episode of Flintstones titled Samantha, which featured Dick York and Elizabeth Montgomery, who have just moved to the neighborhood in Bedrock. In 1972, after Bewitched had been canceled, Tabitha and M actually got to be in their own little ABC series superstar movie in December of '72 called Tabitha and M and the Clown Family, produced by Hanna-Barbera. Never really saw it though. In 1977, there would be a short-lived TV series of the same name, but just Tabitha, of course, which after a failed, well, pilot with Liberty Williams playing the titular character, they actually got this series, which starred Lisa Hartman before she even got married to a certain Clint Black. Played the now grown up Tabitha, who works with her brother M at a TV station. Now, I did talk about that in the Tvlog as well. I may revisit that Sunday. We'll see. But that wasn't really a big hit either. Oh well. There will also be comics, a novel, and games, TV remakes. There were even proposed reboots, and there was even, but Bewitched was kind of taken on in the second episode of the Disney Plus miniseries WandaVision. So anyway, I must say, Bewitched is such an amazing sitcom. It's got a fun-filled, well, cast of characters which are so good, and I really do like them. They are just so awesome, and well, each episode is filled with fun, humor, and all sorts of emotional depth in some parts. Well, you don't have to take my word for it. More funny humor than emotional depth, but well, you know what I mean when if you've seen this show. To this day, the show is still available to watch on the Diginet Antenna TV. It's also on physical media, and yes, you can still get it in various box sets from seasons. Unfortunately, I failed to get the last two seasons. I have the first six seasons though. Anyway, now you can get the series for reasonable prices, even for the complete series, as a matter of fact. Yeah, because Sony originally released the series and then soon it was taken over by Mill Creek. Now, some sets are at reasonable prices and some are not at reasonable prices. You be the judge. You try and find them at a good price and you might enjoy this series, okay? Enough said. Bewitched is a good show and I think you'll really like it if you give it a shot. So, what did you think? Did you ever watch Bewitched? If so, let me know in the comment section below. And if you like this video, click the like button, subscribe, and be a part of the Big D Nation. Continue to help support my channel, make it grow, and make the views grow. Tell all your friends about my channel, get them to know me. Maybe they like to be a part of my Big D Nation. And share my vids with your friends if you wish as well. Join me next time when I bring to you a review of The Green Mile. So if you like this, consider checking out these other videos. In the upper left hand corner is a TV log I did on I Dream of Jeannie like 4 years ago. I think that's still doing fun. Not sure if I'll revisit it, but we'll see. That was just before I started getting some pictures. Or go to the upper right hand corner and you can check out maybe something, well, the start of a magical type of series of movies, though, in the with Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. I've reviewed all the Harry Potter films. You can check those out if you'd like. Or if you would like maybe something else, you can go to the bottom left hand corner and see my, well, this is probably a more recent, maybe not a more recent TV log, but you can check out my TV log of the Flintstones in the bottom left hand corner. That would work. In the bottom right hand corner is the button you can click to subscribe. If you like rankings and reviews on movies, TV, music, video games, etc., as well as the TV log, then I'm your guy. Thanks for watching. We'll have another TV log coming up for you next year or so. Stay tuned. Until next time, I'm the Big D saying, see ya.